Kory Edward Sorensen was born March 11, 1955, the youngest child of Wilson and Helen Sorensen. Kory had an older sister, Kathy, and two older brothers, Kent and Kim. Kory had a wonderful childhood growing up in Provo with lots of friends. He loved riding bikes and, of course, playing ball. When he was in the 5th grade, his family moved to a new home in Oak Hills by the Provo Temple. Kory loved sports from an early age and would play as much as he could. He played Little League, track, and when he got older, he played football. But he really loved basketball. He used to run down the hill to Provo Desert Towers. They had some basketball hoops there, and he would scrape as much snow off the concrete as he could, and he would play until it got dark. And usually he had bloody knuckles as he ran home afterwards. Kory's father, Wilson, was president of Utah Technical College. One of Kory's first jobs was helping clean the school. When Wilson helped in purchasing the property that is now UVU, he put his boys to work. They put in sprinklers and they helped build and cultivate a large garden. And that is where Kory first developed his love of gardening. Kory lettered in 4 sports at Provo High: football, basketball, baseball, and track, where he did the pole vault. Kory tells the story of how he and Gifford Nielsen both went out for quarterback in high school. When they started, they would each play quarterback for half of the game. But when Kory had to sit out, he got bored, and so he didn't want to sit out. He wanted to play on the field. So he would go in as an offensive lineman. He did really well at his position, and so it stuck, and that's where he played the rest of his career. His nickname in high school was Trooper. Kory loved basketball. One of the most life-changing events for him happened when the cut list came out for the basketball team, and his name wasn't on it. He was devastated. He went off by himself, and he thought as his life as he knew it was over. He decided right then and there that he needed to be more than just a basketball player. And after making that decision, he came back into the locker room and his name was on the list. The coach had just forgot and left it off. The Provo High basketball team went on to win the state championship in 1973. Kory was named All-State catcher in baseball his senior year. That same year, his football team also took 2nd place in state. He was always active in scouts, but he didn't complete his Eagle until the day before his 18th birthday. This was hard for him because he wasn't allowed to get his driver's license until he had his Eagle award. But when he finally earned it, he was allowed to drive to school. He drove an old truck, and they called it the Pink Cloud. He graduated from Provo High School in 1973. After high school, Kory worked at McDonald's and went to Utah Tech and played basketball. From 1974 to 1976, he served at a church mission in Kobe, Japan. When he returned from his mission, he again went to school at Utah Tech and played on the basketball team and was called to be the first president of the new institute. He was also president of a small single adult ward. It was about this time that he met Roxanne Bleed. Roxanne started going to his basketball games just so she could see him because he was too busy. This was a trend that would last their whole married life. In 1977, Kory left to sell books door to door for the summer, and when he returned, he attended BYU. Kory and Roxanne were married March 24th, 1978 in the Mennonite Temple. Both attended BYU, and Kory sold books for 3 more summers. Kory graduated with a bachelor's in psychology, and with one child, Trevin, and another on the way, Cody, they moved to Ventura, California in 1980. While living in California, Kory worked selling fundraising for schools. It was a beautiful place to live. Kory worked with the young men in the ward and took them backpacking to Mount Whitney. The Ventura 4th Ward men's basketball team also won the area championship in 1981. and the Sportsmanship Award. With baby number 3, Emily, arriving on the scene, Kory and Roxanne decided they wanted to be closer to family, and they made the move back to Provo. Kory again worked with the Scouts until he was called as a counselor in the bishopric. In 1985, baby number 4, Brian, arrived, and a new job opportunity took the family to Grand Terrace, California. Kory began working in the medical, rental, and sales business, a career that he would work in for over 30 years. While in California, the Colton First Ward 1987 basketball team went to the Final Four, and Kory made the all-tournament team. By 1990, Brad and Daniel had both joined the family. Kory was always coaching someone. He coached countless soccer, basketball, and baseball teams. And when Trevin was a freshman at Colton High School in 1993, Kory learned that the basketball coach had left. He asked if there was anything he could do to help, and he ended up as the head coach for 7 years as a side job for the high school basketball team. Kory had many church callings during his time in California. He was always willing to serve in any calling: Scoutmaster, Young Men's, High Council, Seminary, Assistant Nursery Leader. He served in several bishoprics and served as bishop for 6 years. He took several groups of scouts hiking to Mount Whitney. That was one of his favorite things to do. Kory's favorite time was any time he could watch his kids compete, with many hours driving to and from Utah to watch games at BYU and SUU, and then later watching the Chargers and the Chiefs. Some of the things that Kory loved the most were spending time with his family, home improvement projects, gardening, yard work, making lemonade from his lemon trees, taking care of his 4 tortoises, cooking, especially making food for someone else. He loved doing that. Holding babies or playing with little kids, helping anyone and everyone, building puzzles, playing games, going on walks, and singing silly songs. And he loved to build things and work with wood. There's so many simple little things that remind me of my dad. The smell of sawdust or fresh paint, cooking rice, peeling a perfect grapefruit. He was obsessed with that. Juggling a soccer ball, building puzzles. That was something we really liked to do together. Every time I sit in the grass to pull weeds, or eat raspberries, or take care of my peach trees, I think of him. And if I ever hear someone say I got my hair cut, I always think, which one? I have so many wonderful memories of my dad from my childhood. And he had a way of making everyone feel special. And he had a way of making everything we did feel like a game. He always made me feel loved. Now that I'm a busy parent with a lot going on in my life, it seems even harder to comprehend the amount of time he gave to his family, and still had time to coach, serve in church, fix anything and everything around the house, and make all of those he came in contact with feel special and important too. I don't know how he did it. He worked so hard, and yet he always had time for me, to read to me, to play with me, to kick a soccer ball with me, to make up a silly game, or just to talk. Whenever I needed him, he was there. He taught me how to serve. He taught me how to love others. And he taught me how to work hard and to finish what I started. I believe the Lord knew that his time on earth would be limited. And so he blessed my dad to be able to maximize his time to the fullest. I know that his greatest challenge in life was not being able to do all the things he loved so much the last few years of his life. But for me, this turned into one of my greatest blessings, to be able to serve and help him and try to repay just the tiniest drop of what he's done for me. It brought me a lot of joy. I'm so thankful that I've gotten to spend so much time with him the last 4 years. Thank you all for being here. I think this is a true testament of the man that he was and is, and